Hello and welcome back. My name is Kabira and this is Kabira Speaks. I don't know why I was in the squat position to start this video, but this is just like a comfortable stance. I don't know why. Some people pee like this. People who are afraid to sit. I'm a sitter, but if you are a squatter, that's all right too. Anyway, not how I wanted to start this video. Hi, that's not my voice either. I'm a little bit rusty. Hello and welcome back. My name is Kabira. It is, yeah. My name is Kabira and this is Kabira Speaks. Okay, so, sorry I haven't posted in a little while. Yeah, I've been a little bit busy. But I think what's more than being a little bit busy is that I'm going through like a lot of self-loathing lately. So it's really hard to make things and do things when you don't like yourself. So yeah, that's what's going on with me. And I'm sorry that got so dark so fast. But that's where I'm at right now. But I'm trying to get better. So here I am. And this video is kind of a part of that. So let's see. A while ago, I had shared with you that I quit my job and became a server. I made a video about it, made 2 videos about it. I didn't go back and watch the video that I had made. I can't rewatch my stuff. It's part of the self-loathing thing. I know that if I go back and watch it, I will just want to delete, and I don't want to do that. So I haven't rewatched it, but I know the gist of what I said, and I need to go back to that story. So let's see. In that video, I had said that I quit my job because I felt like I wasn't doing a good job. And I didn't feel mentally well enough to do a job like that. And I just needed to take a brain break is what I think called it at the time. And all of that is true. But also recently I have come across some interesting information, and it's kind of giving me some insight as to why I made that decision, because it was a really bad decision. So, I had been a TSS, which is a therapeutic staff support. They don't call it that now. Now it's a BHT, or behavioral health technician. But I was a TSS, and I loved that job. Honestly, it was one of my favorite things I've ever done. So I worked with kids who had different needs at their school and at their house. I loved them dearly. This is when I was going to grad school, by the way. So I did this for a little over 2 years, I think. Great job. I was good at it. I could see the progress that the kids I was working with made, and that was very intrinsically rewarding for me. And yeah, I really liked it. So then I got my master's degree in social work, and I graduated with honors, actually, which is hard for me to say, but it's true. I did. And yeah, I got my master's degree, and then the next step up, I guess, from a TSS, even though I didn't really plan it to be this way, I ended up getting a job as a mobile therapist. And I remember thinking during the interview, you're really faking her out right now. You are really fooling this person. So I was offered the job. And so being a TSS, I was making $20 an hour. So I know it's you're not supposed to talk about your pay, but in some spaces I have recently seen and read that actually we should talk about our pay more often, because it will help eliminate pay gaps and stuff. So as a TSS, I was making $20 an hour, which was great. I mean, I really liked the job, and that was enough for me at the time. And then as a mobile therapist, I was offered $27 an hour starting wage, which was more than I had ever made ever before. So I feel like I'm just really faking my way through this interview, and they offer me the job, and I'm all right, that's good. Now you have to keep up the charade. Now you have to keep up with them thinking that you know what you're doing, them thinking that you do belong here. So I tried that, and then it just got to be really overwhelming. And I started thinking, like, you can't do this. You are not doing a good job. You're not helping. You're not helping these people. You're wasting their time. You're a fraud. And then it got even worse from there. And I started thinking that not only was I fraudulent as a mobile therapist, but that my colleagues and coworkers were fakes. That we were all faking, and we were all not being helpful and not actually doing anything productive. And so then I quit. So yeah, quit that job, started working as a server at Chickies and Pete's, which was really bad for me. Just a lot of toxic people there, unfortunately. And I'm a magnet. That's my magnet sound. I'm a magnet for toxic people. We got a shift drink at the end of our shift, which, I mean, it's actually a shift beer, but I don't love beer. So the bartenders would give me like a mixed drink, which turned into several. And I was making ends meet. Like I had enough money to pay all my bills serving. But I wouldn't have had money if I had a medical emergency, or I wouldn't have had extra money if my car broke down, and it did break down. And I wouldn't have had extra money if, let's say, there was a global pandemic. So yeah, that happened. So as I'm sure you can imagine, I have kicked myself 10 times over for leaving that job that I got right after graduating. It's only now that I kind of like understand why. So the things that I just described to you, the way that I was feeling, that is imposter syndrome. Feeling like a fraud, feeling like a fake, feeling like people really, really knew you. They would see the truth, that you're not smart, that you are not competent, that you are not good at what you're doing. So I guess for me, like, having that as my first career job, that was really like the pinnacle of the imposter syndrome for me. But I have also come to realize that I've had imposter syndrome for a long, long, long time, like since I was a kid. So another video that I had shared with you, I read my journals in the vlog. And I also drank a bottle of wine on camera. Very classy of me. But when I was reading those journals, like that was supposed to be just a fun, silly video. And it was a fun, silly video. But I also skipped all the bad stuff. So like, there was a lot of bad stuff. Let me just say that. If I started reading something that was bad stuff, I either edited it out or I, quickly skipped ahead and didn't read it. But I'm honestly so glad that I have those journals because they're so helpful to me as an adult, figuring out like why I'm so fucked up, basically. Excuse my French, but sometimes you gotta. Yeah, so looking back at my journals, looking at the bad stuff, I see over and over again, like me saying, I'm not a good person. I'm selfish. I'm a selfish person. People don't really know, don't really know me. If people actually knew me, they wouldn't like me. I'm not a good person. I'm fat, I'm smelly, I'm stupid. Just like really, really negative self-talk. And what ends up happening is the stuff that I said to myself as a child, because of some traumatic things that had happened to me, I continued to say them to myself so often that I don't even notice I'm doing it. It's literally just like a constant onslaught of negativity, and that really wears on you. So I went to college for 5 years got a job that I was perfectly suited for, perfectly capable of doing, and I just freaked out. Just freaked out. And yeah. So that's imposter syndrome. I got it. I got it pretty good. So that's my next point. Let's see. It's like a lot of things, it's a spectrum. So you might have resonated with some of what I just shared a little bit, or you might have resonated with a lot of it, possibly. So mine, I do truly believe it started from some traumatic experiences that I had. So mine's pretty severe. Other people might experience imposter syndrome in smaller doses in their daily lives. It might affect them at work a little bit. It might not. It might affect them in their social groups a little bit. I feel it in pretty much almost every aspect of my life. I feel like a big old fake, even on like I was saying in the beginning of this video, like even making YouTube videos, I'm just talking about myself. I'm not claiming to be an expert or anything. I'm really just talking about my own experiences and stuff. But I still, if I had gone back and watched my old videos, I'd be like, what is this POS trying to talk about? Like, and I don't talk about anybody like that. Even my worst enemy, well, my very worst enemy, I do talk about that a little bit. But almost everyone else, I would never say anything like that. But the stuff I say to myself is vile. So, like I said, I'm not an expert. I'm just someone who's going through it, has gone through it. It's deeply affected me to the point of quitting my job right before a global pandemic, which I am still rebounding from, as I'm sure a lot of people are. Yeah, I just have really lived through this whole imposter syndrome thing, and I don't have the answers really, and I'm not going to give too much advice. I just, for me personally, like knowing about it, knowing it has a name, putting a name to my feelings and understanding that it's happened to other people has been really helpful for me. So for 2 years in a row, I have, oh my gosh, did you just hear that? I sounded very Delco. I said row. I'm not from Delaware County, but that's like the accent there. Anyway, for 2 years in a row, I have basically uncovered some horrible things about my past. I'm smiling because I'm uncomfortable. That's what I do. I basically have discovered some horrible things about my past, and it's just putting a lot of things into place. So I've always thought myself to be an introspective person, and I am, but I was missing a large chunk of stuff that I needed to know, and now I know. So last year when I discovered a trauma that I cognitively knew about, so let me just tell you, last summer, I got a message from someone who was sexually assaulted by the person who raped me. So I reported it, but it also brought up a lot of things because it had happened 5 years prior. And I dated the person after it happened. So I was like, what is your problem, Kabira? Like, what was wrong with you to do that? So I did a lot of research into rape and rape victims and rapists and the psychology of rape. And it may have seemed like I was obsessing about it, but that is actually called is psychoeducation. So I was psychoeducating myself, which helped. And then this year, I have found out something else that's super messed up about myself and about my past. I say found out. I always had the knowledge, but like repressed memories, that's a topic for another day. So again, this year I found out some very upsetting, traumatizing things that had happened to me. And similarly to as last year, I've done a lot of research and psychoeducation because it honestly soothes me just to understand and to know. So that is, if I could give any advice at all, it would be that, just to learn more about it, because that's what's been helping me. I am happy to say that I do have a job now, that it's back in my field, making more money than I was as a mobile therapist. Not a ton more, but it'll get there. It's crazy to even think about because I'm still super broke, but someday. And yeah, it's like even more responsibility than my other job. But it's cool because I'm just like doing it one day at a time. Not to be cliche, but I'm doing it one day at a time, and it is still hard. But now I'm recognizing those feelings and the onslaught of horrible things that I tell myself, and I'm like, no, bitch, that's not true. Yeah, so I hope that is helpful. Really, that's my whole thing, is I want to be helpful. I am not a professional. I am a professional, but not on this subject. But, you know, I will be honest, and I do feel like just talking it out can be so helpful sometimes. And honestly, so one time I was on this trip, okay? Quick story, and then I'll wrap it up. I was on a trip. I was in El Salvador, and I was working with kids who had been abandoned by their families. And I was feeling like, really, like, there's so many kids who need help, and I am one person, and I cannot help them all. And I was really upset, and I was talking to someone else about this way that I was feeling, and she was like, let me tell you this story. So a woman was walking along the beach, and there were a bunch of starfish on the shore who were like dying, I guess, because starfish can't live on land. I don't know if that's true. I feel like, can starfish live on both water and land? I don't know. I remember the story. Starfish were on the shore dying, and they needed to get back into the water. So this woman is throwing the starfish back into the water so that they can live. And this guy comes along, and he's like, listen, lady, what are you doing? Can you see how many starfish there are that are dying on this beach? You really think throwing one back is gonna save them all? And she was like, no. But I can save this one. And yeah, that's just kind of where my thoughts are. Like, I know this content is not going to be for everyone. It's not going to be for a lot of people. But if I'm talking to one person right now who needs a friendly face, who's been through what they're going through, then that's enough for me. So that's everything for now. I'll try to be back soon. You know how it gets sometimes. All right. Thanks for listening and watching. I don't know why I did that.